All right. Hello, friends. Welcome to Music Nation Speaks with me, Joe, where I use this platform to chat and learn from people who are passionate in what they do and authentic in who they are from all walks of life. So, before we get into today's episode, a very special episode, and it's going to be a fun one, a little bit of housekeeping to do as per usual. All right. So, Music Nation is now offering a package of 12 sessions for singing and songwriting. So sessions will be done online because yes, we are under lockdown for the I don't know for how long, but we persevere lah, huh? All right, so sessions will be done online and they'll be conducted by none other than yours truly. All right. The cool thing about these sessions is that you can do them anytime. It doesn't have to be weekly. So if you like to sing or write 3 times a week, 4 times a week, that's fine too. So DM us on Instagram, on Facebook, or send us an email to sign up today and get started on your music journey. So for Instagram, it is Music Nation MY. For Facebook, it's Music Nation Empire, and email is musicnationempire@gmail.com. All right. And just be like, hey, Joe, I'm so bored at home. I want to learn something new, step out of my comfort zone. And, I like to try this thing called music and songwriting or singing. Yes, come to me. I would gladly help you. All right. So that's it for today's announcements. Let me get right into it. All right. So today we have the one and only, the very young but very powerful Abang Saef.
Lovely, lovely intro, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No worries. I want to do the great and powerful, but I'm like, that's a bit too on the nose and copy. I am Joe Wong, not Joe Rogan, so I have to separate a little bit. But how are you doing? What's
I
been
am,
going on?
yeah, I'm great, man. I'm great. Right now it's MCO in Malaysia, so we can't train. So I've just been chilling at home, taking care of
Yeah.
myself, my mental health, trying to be
Yes.
centered, trying to be spiritual, trying to be a better person, But it's not easy, We live in the city, and there's always like things crossing like passing through our minds and stuff. So, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really good.
I feel you on that because like I feel like we do have similar positions in a way where a lot of times our students look up as in like look to us for, oh, what can we do since it's MCO now, cannot do face-to-face training, cannot do contact sports, cannot sing, like because I
Mm.
teach singing, that's my main job. So it's like um yes, we would like to give as much, and I see you doing a lot of live sessions, a lot of like Instagram live, and but sometimes when we give a lot, I feel, especially for me, during this MCO, this third one, it hit me a little bit harder because for the whole year I kind of had to be strong for other people, hey, it's okay, let's do online classes first, no matter what it is, we'll get through it. But now it's been a while, so I feel you on the, we have to take care of ourselves mentally, spiritually, physically, so that when things do open up, we are ready to go again, that kind of thing. So yes, since we're on this topic, I have written down some questions for you. So what are some of the solo drills or training routine that you're doing at home now since it's MCO?
I don't. I don't do any solo drills. I don't really believe in like training with a chair. I don't really believe in like, I mean, I would rather you go for like more mental training than
Mm,
actually try because jiu-jitsu is a fight, right?
yeah.
And the thing is with fighting, you need a reaction after
Yes.
you create action, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you have action without a reaction, then it's basically I don't know, man. Especially with something like jiu-jitsu, you need randomness. That's what I feel. You need that interaction, right? Because like if you hit a
Yeah.
bag, for instance, right? You hit a bag, you can train that power. Yeah, you can train movements and stuff like that, solo drills. Yeah, sure. But like personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know, maybe I'm just lazy. I don't know.
Not
But
with like a bantal or something.
yeah, with the bantat. I mean, I personally watch the videos like some DVD instructional, I go on YouTube once in a while, but like right now I'm just chilling, man. Like
Yeah.
I also don't want to feel the pressure to train if I don't really want to train. You know what I mean? I feel that's another thing.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't think you should like. I don't know. Jiu-jitsu is something that's natural. Has been natural to me. If it's something that I want to do, then I'll do it. You know, if it's something that I feel like, yeah, right now we can't do it. It's a pandemic. We have to survive this pandemic first
Yes.
and foremost, right? Jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
is for me. It's a career. It was a hobby before, but it's a career now. But the thing is, with jiu-jitsu, it's not something that is like, oh, essential. Like if I don't do jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna die. You know, that kind of thing. It's just something I love to do. You know, so like if like I'm just gonna if nobody can do it right now, let's just chill.
True,
I don't
true, true.
know.
Ah,
That's how
so
I
what are
feel.
some of the things that you're doing mentally then to help you stay sane?
Mm. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I personally like to analyze. Um, I can remember my roles quite well. I think because I've been doing
Yeah.
this for a long time, right? So I try to
Ah,
just picture whenever I chill, I'm eating or I'm like lying down or playing game or whatever. I think about the roles. I think about the roles. I think about the techniques that I use. I think about what you can and can't do. You know, because these are also things that are part of jiu-jitsu as well. And I feel like maybe right now it's talked about a bit more by like John Thomas.
yeah.
John Thomas talks about this side a bit more nowadays. But like yeah, jiu-jitsu is it's not just technique. Technique is king, definitely. You do need to be technically sound to do jiu-jitsu well. But
Yes.
you also have to know that it's a fight, right? And a fight has
Yeah.
a lot of randomness and a lot of mental, a lot of fight IQ.
Unpredictability.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unpredictability. And if you drill solo with chair, for instance, and like you just get used to this kind of, your body adapts to training with a chair, I think
Yeah.
it might detriment your game slightly because your body is expecting this kind of reaction as you're drilling it,
Yes.
right? You're drilling with something
Yes.
that doesn't move. So when you hit the move, you're like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. This is how I've been drilling for a year and a half at home, right?
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, what's it gonna do to your game? Sometimes it could make it worse. I don't know. I don't know.
Right. I totally agree with you because when my students
Mm,
ask me what are some of the right way to practice or how should they practice, and I always tell them practice like you're performing because
mm,
our body remembers, and we always have to instill good habits within our body. Our body will remember, and if you're not used to the mindset of performing or even the amount of power that you need, and then all of a sudden you're on stage and then you overcompensate and your body's not used to it, that kind of you wouldn't know how to react, you wouldn't know how to control yourself. So I do agree with what you're saying in terms of like when if we're using a chair, using a bantal ke whatever, one is super soft, one only has
mm.
four legs,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not
It's just
gonna punch you back.
yeah, legit. It's not gonna like move, and like that's a huge part of doing well in comms or like in sparring or whatever in a fight is
Yeah,
noting reactions. I think that's really
yeah,
important, right? You got to note reactions and then you can recognize the pattern and then you can overcome it. If that thing doesn't
right.
move back, then it's just gonna be a bit awkward.
Yes,
That's
and
how I feel
you know,
about it.
yeah, and it also brings me to like becoming a good drilling partner. For the
Mm,
longest time, the first few months, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like Mike is like, okay, you guys take turns lah. Do drilling on each other, and I
mm,
thought my role as a drilling partner is like, okay, just
later.
uh lay still, or if you're mounted, okay, just chill, that kind of thing. But
Mm,
I it wasn't until much later on that if I give a little resistance, a bit of like the
mm,
reaction thing that you were talking about, then I'm fulfilling my role of becoming a good drilling partner because like you said, it's a fight. So what's gonna happen during the rolls, right? I am not just gonna stay there and let you armbar me or
exactly.
triangle me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So let's get right into it. Why the name Abang?
It's my family name, it's a surname. So my dad's side is all Abang and all Dayang. So my dad's side is fully Sarawakian. So I'm half Sarawakian, half Ipoh, KL, lah, mostly KL. Lah. I grew up in KL most of my life anyway, but I do go back there for Raya and stuff like that. So that side is
Oh,
full Sarawakian. So the guys in that side, my dad's side, all Abangs, all Abangs, and the
Oh,
girls, then my sister, they're all
oh
Dayangs,
no.
the family. Yeah,
I see.
you
Okay,
back?
sorry, Abang.
Yeah,
Can you repeat one more time? Because I think with the whole virtual
yeah,
thing, the interwebs, it's
yeah. No worries, no worries. It's happened to my IG live so many times. Oh my god. But yeah, so the Sarawak side, right? My dad's side, all they're all Abangs. All the dudes are all Abangs, and all the girls are all Dayangs. Yeah, so
I
that's why the name Abang.
see.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's
So,
actually my real name, dude. It's actually my real name. It's always awkward, man. It's like, what do people call you? It's like, what's your name? Nice to meet you. What's your name? It's like, oh, Abang. And they're like, the fuck's wrong with this guy? It's
pardon
like,
me?
why is it like, oh, you want me? You think you're so great, You want people to call you Abang? What the fuck, right? I'm like, okay, my name is Abang Saef lah. He's like, okay, I'll call you Saef. I was like, no problem, you can call me Saef. And then it happens more often than not. Like we will chill and we'll lepak and all that. And in a couple of days, they'll start calling me Abang. So I'm like, yeah, there's no point. I call myself Saef lah. It's like they're gonna call me Abang anyway, right? So I just introduce myself as Abang lah. Fuck it.
Yeah. Because okay, so abang is one thing, but you really and I think people start calling you abang because even from by the way, disclaimer, guys, this is our first time talking, our first time
Yeah,
interacting.
yeah, yeah.
So, and I completely understand why people call you abang because you have this presence of like, dude, I know what I'm talking about, even though you don't seem to take yourself too lightly or too seriously, like
Yeah.
you have this like confident presence about you. And I see the your love and your passion for jiu-jitsu coming through when you talk about it. It's not like trying to pull shit from from different places. you
Yeah.
you live it and you embody, and that's why it shows, it comes through when you speak, so I understand why abang now.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I try my best to. I don't think like I don't know. I'm not like the most. I don't believe I'm the most technical jiu-jitsu guy, or like I don't sit down and watch instructionals on hours on end. But I love jiu-jitsu because like I grew up with it. Number one, right? I grew
Yes,
up with
how did you
jiu-jitsu.
get into it actually?
My brother. So I have a brother, right? His name is Abang Zulkarnain, and so he wanted to first join Muay Thai in Crush MMA. This was back in 2009. Okay, back in 2009, back when like Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, Muay Thai, all that was just like barely even known lah in KL,
Yep,
right? So he
yep.
wanted to join. He wanted to join Muay Thai. I gotta thank him every time we talk about Jiu-Jitsu, right? Because he's the one that actually got me into it. So he joined Muay Thai and he went for a class, but the Muay Thai coach was not there for some reason, or like he went for a wrong class and he bumped into Professor Marcos Escobar, my coach right now, in Crush MMA in 2009, and he just hopped in the class. So he
Of
hopped
all
in, he
people,
came,
right? Of all
yeah,
days.
yeah. He found it. He was like, "Yo, what the hell is this?" He tried it out. He went home, started telling me about it, and me, of course, his younger brother. I'm just like, this stuff won't work, lah. It's like bros, right? Like we're just bantering and like, it's like, nah, this won't work. But he kept doing it and kept doing it, kept doing it, and I started to see he started to bring me into that world a bit more, the
Mm.
jiu-jitsu world. And I was like, oh damn, this is pretty cool. So I wanted to start a martial art as well. And me
Yeah.
being a competitive younger brother, right? I was like, but I don't want to join jiu-jitsu lah. He's in jiu-jitsu, I don't want to join.
He's
So I
already doing
joined.
it.
Yeah, he's already doing it. It's like I want to try something else and try to beat him with it, right? Because I'm super competitive. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Jiu-jitsu
try
won't
this.
work on me.
Yeah, this won't work on me. Like this is nothing, dude. So I tried. I went and joined Jikundo first, okay, with this guy called Steve Solomon. Shout out to Steve Solomon, man, great guy. So I trained Jikundo with him for a couple of years, and in that couple of years, I used to spar with my brother MMA. Okay, so he had no striking, and I had no grappling. So we would just fight, right? Yeah, we would just fight at home. MMA gloves, dude. MMA gloves, not even like boxing gloves. No headgear, no mouth guard, nothing.
With
Just
the
MMA
fingers
gloves
out.
with the fingers out. We start like sparring at my house. My brother takes me down. Okay, he takes me down. He arm triangles me. He gives me an arm triangle. And instead of tapping, of course, because I don't like to lose. So I didn't tap. And I was like 14, right? I didn't want to tap. No, don't want to tap, don't want to tap, don't want to tap. I cried. I started crying after getting arm triangle. My dad comes down and he starts saying like, "Hey, if you're gonna keep doing this, both of you can't do martial arts anymore." So I had to swallow
Oh,
my pride. And then I was like, you know what? This jiu-jitsu thing works. So a year after that, so I was like 15 and a half. I was training Jeet Kune Do for about a year and a half at this time.
yeah.
I went for my first jiu-jitsu class and
Mhm.
fell in love. Fell in love with it, dude. Fucking fell in
Oh,
love with it. Yeah. So that was the story, dude. Yeah. Beaten up for
I
my
feel
brother.
you. I
Yeah.
feel you on the crying part and the refusing to tap part.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is, right? You're like, this is nothing, this don't work, and you're like in an arm triangle or a rear naked choke, and you're like, fuck, this is fucking tight,
Dude, recently,
dude.
I tell you, with the whole competitiveness thing, the
Mm.
mindset, right? Like, I realized how much of a sore loser I am recently. I've cried like 3, 4 times on the mat, and then I refused to tap to a Kimura, which she completely had me.
Bro, it's okay. I've done that before. It's okay. No worries.
And then I had to stop
Yeah,
training for a week because it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because jiu-jitsu
But
works. Newsflash,
it, oh
it works.
Jesus, and yeah. So let's get into the so you were how old? Like 15 or 16 when you got
15 lah.
into jujitsu?
Actually, okay. I
Uh
was 14 and about like 10 months when I first joined jiu-jitsu. Actually, in October
ah
2010, I remember.
right.
I
So what's the
remember.
difference between jikundo?
Jeet Kune Do
Jikundo.
is Bruce Lee's martial art. So it's a lot of it's striking, pure striking. My coach, Steve Solomon, had Junfan kickboxing background, so it was
Ah,
more towards the yeah. So it's more towards kickboxing style, Asian kickboxing style.
I
Um,
see.
yeah, but actually the idea of Jeet Kune Do is for it to be like a mix, a champo. If
Yeah.
I think yeah, because Bruce Lee was actually the pioneer of MMA, right? He didn't
Yeah.
have much grappling back then, but he was a pioneer of MMA. He strayed away from Wing Chun because he thought it was a bit too tight, too rigid, the form, right?
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
created something formless like Jeet Kune Do, and he started to take Western martial arts. He got other Asian martial arts in. So that drew me into Jeet Kune Do at first, because when I first joined
Ah,
martial arts, my initial um, idea in joining martial arts was to join MMA.
yeah.
Yeah, so I joined Jeet Kune Do
Same.
first, and I did the whole striking thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
when I went from Jeet Kune Do to Jiu-Jitsu, I think this last 9, 10 years has just been like pure Jiu-Jitsu, and it's just
Ah,
Jiu-Jitsu is just it's so vast, right?
yeah.
There's so many things you can learn in Jiu-Jitsu
Yeah.
that if you don't, I feel like if you this might contradict what I said earlier about like not solo drilling at home, but like if you don't train jiu-jitsu, you're gonna be trash at jiu-jitsu. You know,
Yeah.
it's as simple as that. Like there's just too much. There's too much in
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, and if you don't keep up with it on a daily basis, if you
Yes.
really just like okay forgo jiu-jitsu, and then in 6 months or 7 months you try to come back and you fight again, you're just gonna be like, oh, I don't even know how to do jiu-jitsu so well, lah. You know,
Oh
so
yeah. I feel
yeah,
you. After the second MCO, I went back. I was like, "Huh, how to mount again? What is mount
yeah.
again?" And it was only like 2, 3 months.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
unnatural, right? It's unnatural to the body. I think you get into very strange positions that
Yes.
is not like, I mean, if you're a casual, not casual, if you're a non-practitioner and you see
Mm.
fighting, right? And you see striking and say, okay, I can kind of, I know what it is, right? It's a punch, like I can kind of like wing
I
it.
use my
It might not
arm.
be as,
Yes.
yeah, I use my arm and I put it on his face, right? Like everybody knows how to punch, right? Even if since you're a kid until old. But jiu-jitsu is like if you watch two people, two adults especially, right? Two grown men or two grown females, they're like on the floor cuddling and stuff with like pajamas on with a lot of like NASCAR patches and shit. You're just watching it like the fuck is actually going on, dude? You know? It's like so
Yes.
weird. It's so strange.
That's
You
what
know?
my mom asked me.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I totally feel you because like my mom has been like supporting us from day
Yeah.
one till the end. And it took her maybe like 6, 7 years to actually understand like what a sweep was, how points were scored
Ah.
because she was in all our comps. She always supported us. But she had no idea
Oh.
what she was watching. She was like, I think he won. Did he win? Did I didn't win? Did I not win? It's like, oh yes, they won. you know? It's just like it's like I mean if you don't train in the naked eye, you're just watching two people go leg, suddenly
Yes.
tap. So what happened? What the hell was that? You know?
That's
Uh,
yeah, my mom called it. Why you guys like kueh on the
yeah,
floor? Like
legit. Legit. You guys are just like going on there. What the fuck is this guys doing, man?
exactly. Oh, that's so cute of your mom though. Like she wants to be
Yeah, yeah,
supportive and she is supportive, but she doesn't know
yeah.
what's going
Yeah, yeah. Yo, my parents, man, my parents are amazing. I love them so much. They're very supportive.
on. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Okay.
Yeah,
So with I forgot where my train of thought is, but
it's okay.
um we'll just go lah.
Yeah, lah, it's okay.
with with jujitsu, something that I find quite interesting, especially in the beginning, because I only started very recently, like last July. So within the first month, I had to learn how to fall properly. I had to, kind of like what's it? Dala, Mike
Roll,
is gonna be so disappointed in
hip
me.
escape,
Uh,
escape, swim,
yeah, yeah,
roll.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like
yeah.
shrimp. What even is
Shrimp.
shrimp?
Yeah,
That kind of
yeah.
thing. And then how to, uh, uh, technical stand. That kind of
Technical
thing. Those
stand.
like
Yeah.
basic. So, and then because it's a group class setting, so I got a
Mm,
glimpse of what is what should not what should lah, but like the beginners moves a little bit, and then also the advanced moves. Like I remember uh in my first month, I learned how to do the X guard. So I was like, what the fuck is
wow,
this? What am I doing?
that's quite
Because
advanced.
I was the only beginner there, and everybody has have been doing so. And Mike probably doesn't want me to feel left out, that
Yeah,
kind of thing. And I was the only
yeah.
girl, so okay lah, I do lah, whatever I need, I just follow.
Mm,
So for somebody who's new, or people who are looking into jujitsu,
mm,
into getting into jujitsu and things like that, what would you think are some of the, if they have to just remember these five things, right? What would you say
mm.
are the five most important fundamental principles of jujitsu for beginners?
Beginner, like fresh beginner, just walked into the mat.
Fresh. Yes.
Fresh beginner.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so conflicted with this because there's so many schools of thoughts in my head, and I'm still formulating a solid five principles for me personally, my
Yeah.
beliefs. I'm
Yeah.
still learning a lot. Even
Mhm.
though I'm an instructor, I still learn a lot. I still pick up a lot of things from my seniors, from like Professor Bruninho, Professor
Yeah.
Fang, my coach, YouTube, the best sensei out there, you know. You can
And
like
it's
you guys, you
free.
can. It's free. Everything's on there. So this is not solid. This might change, but I believe right now, as of today, my five core principles for a white belt, for a fresh white belt to come in. The first one is to always keep an open mind. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing. Just keep an open mind because like when you go into jiu-jitsu, there's going to be so many things that you're going to learn. So many things. Even the break fall, the front roll, the back roll, that alone is already quite a bit. The basic movements is already quite a bit. And you'll be practicing that from white all the way through black. So, you
Mm.
know, second would be, and that segues to my second principle, is to not rush things. Jiu-jitsu is a long journey, dude. It's a long journey, and
Guilty.
it's meant to be enjoyed day by day. I don't blame more modern, well, like I'm so old, right? But like more modern jiu-jitsu practitioners to feel to feel
They don't need
to
to
feel
know.
to feel like they're rushing because like when I started jiu-jitsu, right? When I started jiu-jitsu when I was like 14, I was a kid, like I was in
Yeah.
school. So jiu-jitsu was
Yeah.
just something I just went out and just had fun. And I
Yeah.
think along the way I got good at it, right?
Mm.
Comparatively, I got okay at it. But
Yeah.
the core value is to actually just have fun, enjoy the ride, man. It's a day-to-day thing. If you can try to train jiu-jitsu day to day first, without like beating yourself up, without feeling negative things when you come home, without
Yeah.
so many things, like just just enjoy the class. Come to class, hang out, and that leads to the third one. Find an instructor that's legit. That's the most important thing. Okay, do your research before you come in. Find an instructor
Yes.
that's legit, because in Jiu-Jitsu, unfortunately, there is no formal certification to see if this person is an actual instructor or not.
Yeah.
So if this person has been training for like X amount of years and he's a purple or brown belt and he decides to open up a gym and he gets people
Mm-hmm.
to come in and they trust him because he's a higher belt, he's teaching something and he's charging them for it, you just follow him all the way. That can be wrong, because this the instructor might not be teaching the best values, you know.
Yeah.
And recently, there's been a case of like, I won't go so far as to call it sexual assault, but like an abuse of
Mm.
power in the
Mm.
field of in the sexual realm, and that's not
Oh.
cool at all. That is not
Mm.
fucking cool at all,
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, please,
Taking
please do
advantage
your,
of.
yeah, exactly, the abuse of power on these white belts who are clueless.
Yeah.
You can be like
Yeah.
30 years old, you can be 35, you can be 40, you can be like 15, you can be 16 as a white belt. You're
Yeah.
clueless. And if you go into an academy or a studio, whatever you want to call it, you'll go in and this instructor starts telling you stuff and he puts himself in a position of power, abuses that power. You can't say anything against him. He has the whole group with him that's always backing him or her up, right? Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, uh, like you gotta also identify like, okay, this person is legit or not. Then you
Yeah.
can carry on with the class. Just because he has a colored belt and just because you've heard like, oh, this guy is like this, that, doesn't mean that he's actually that. So have a
Yeah.
brain. Number three, have
Yes.
a brain.
Use
Have a brain.
discernment. Yeah. Think critically. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is all very, very important stuff, man. Before you come in, even before you start training, you just
Yeah.
have these things in your head, because once you get into jiu-jitsu, there's a high chance you won't leave. Okay,
Yes.
there's a high
Yes.
chance you won't leave. This shit is addictive, dude. It's addictive, especially
Unless
if
your
you're.
instructor left you, like me. Shout out to
Yeah.
Mike. I hope you're
Shout out to
happy in
Mike.
London.
Yeah, but it's like that. It's jiu-jitsu is so, so, so
Yeah.
addictive. And if
Yes.
you if you come in with the wrong intention, that's number four.
Yeah.
Intention
Yes.
is everything. You come in with a good heart, good intention. Make sure you're learning it for the right reasons, not to bully people, not to
Yes.
not to show off to your friends or whatever, but actually for the art, for the love of the art. You want to improve. You want to
Yeah.
constantly do better as a
Yeah.
person, I feel. And that
Challenge
that kind
yourself
of
as a
like
person.
challenge yourself as a person. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because jiu-jitsu is not easy.
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu is not easy, man. I hope, and
Yeah.
that's the last one. Number five is to always, always, always be patient with jiu-jitsu. Be patient with jiu-jitsu. Please
Preach.
be patient. Please be patient with jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu, like, if it's one thing that jiu-jitsu is not, is it is instant gratification. You will not
Oh
get
yes.
instant gratification from jiu-jitsu. And that's going back to why modern grapplers um, feel more discouraged nowadays, I feel, than when I was training and I was a kid. Again, I was a kid, but
Yeah.
also at the same time, social media and jiu-jitsu wasn't so like, oh, such a big thing, like you see like the Rotulo bros. I mean, they're great. I love them so much. I'm following them since I was a kid. They were kids. But you see them, and if you're like a 31-year-old, 32-year-old, 33-year-old, or like even a 25-year-old, you're watching a kid do so well in the black belt level, you feel like that is expected of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's not, and it's okay.
Yeah.
These guys have started since they were kids. you
Yes.
know. And jiu-jitsu, again, I cannot stress this more. Jiu-jitsu is so hard. It is
Yes.
so hard.
Yeah.
It's like there's just so many variables. There's too many things you have to consider to
Yeah.
start to get good at it. To start to apply your game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
those are the
I
five
think
five core principles, I feel.
I really thank you so much, because that is
Yeah.
a reminder for myself as well. And I have
Mm.
a few things to add on, like based on like personal experiences. I think for number three, what you said about having fun, showing up to
Mm.
class, enjoying class and things like that. I feel like the first few months I was still quite, um, reserved because one, it's a new sport. I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into. You have to touch each other's body and you
Mm.
jam your face in their butt or like their chest, that kind of thing.
Nasty.
But I north south.
Yeah, it's nasty, dude. It's nasty. Not
Yeah, and
natural.
so,
It is not natural.
not natural, yeah. But I think, and it all I think my experience as a whole right now completely so you how do I put this? So I started jujitsu because as a vocal instructor, I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years already. So like I mentioned before, I've always had people asking me, what should I do? How can I get better? That kind of thing. And it has become quite comfortable for me to tell others what to do and what, because, I have put in work and effort and time into my craft. So I feel I can give those kind of advice. So to start something as difficult and as physically challenging
Mm.
as jujitsu. Number one, it was very very humbling for me because I'm very kiasu. So to get choked out, or like I have to tap almost, yeah, not almost, at every roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was very very humbling and very
Yeah.
frustrating. And
Mm.
after I got after I've gotten past the initial phase of, hey, this is what it is and looks like, you're never gonna stop tapping unless you get better lah. So
Mm.
might as well enjoy it. And then
Yeah.
I remembered I had the same feeling of why I started doing music in the first place, because it was fun. And then the childlikeness and the joy of rolling on the ground, with another friend, it really reminded me again of what it feels like to be a kid again.
Mm.
And then I started, being more vocal, when being vocal as in like I laugh a lot lah. I laugh
Yeah.
crazy when I
Yeah.
roll. So there was so many times Mike was like, "Why are you laughing when you're rolling?" And I'm like, "Cause it's fun."
Yeah. 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 I mean, like, that's the thing. That's the thing, man. Like, I think I was lucky because I joined as a kid. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, how serious is a kid's like, oh, I'm going to do MMA, I'm going to fight MMA. How serious is that really? It's not really that serious, you know. It's just like fantasy shit, right? You're thinking about
Yes.
it, and one day you idolize, you watch one good MMA movie, and suddenly you want to do MMA, right? But
Karate Kid.
yeah, but if you think about it,
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu or any form of serious
Mm.
art, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of types of art today, and there are arts that again, I don't want to knock any art, but there are difficulty levels to some arts, and that
Yes.
that sometimes comes with like connotations of either the instructor or the art itself, commercialization, all those things factor in, right? How hard an
Yeah.
art can be. With
Yeah.
Jitsu, something that is so niche and still so pure in a
Yeah.
sense, right? It's tough. It's tough as nails. It's tough as fuck, lah. Basically, right?
Yeah.
It's a hard. It's like difficulty in a video game. Jiu-Jitsu is very hard. Okay,
Yes.
if you go into that very hard and you take yourself too seriously, you're not gonna
Yeah.
last. As simple as that. Because you're gonna lose,
Yes.
and then you're gonna
Yep.
feel discouraged, and then you're not gonna
Yep.
continue anymore. Simple
Yep.
as that. So having that childlikeness, going to class, like just like having fun, because
Yeah.
there's so much to learn. You know, and just there's so
Yes.
much to learn. You come in one class, hey, I've never seen this before, although you've been training for 6, 7 years. So, oh, that's a
Yeah.
cool way to hit a butterfly sweep. That's a cool way to like dive for a deep half. Like I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's cool. As a kid, right? Naturally, if you're a kid, you're curious, right? You want to find
Yeah.
out what the fuck was that, right?
Yeah.
And like the best of the best, like you see like Mikey Musumeci, you see even the Mendes bros, you see the Meow bros, they
Yeah.
still have that like that warm feeling of like, okay, I can still learn more tomorrow. I can still learn
Mm-hmm.
more tomorrow. I'm gonna come in on the mat and I'm gonna have fun, even though that cry in competition and all that, although it means a
Yeah.
lot. But in in training, the whole training atmosphere and ambience, they have to. I'm sure they have to. Something inside them is telling you like, hey, chill lah, it's
Y-
just jiu-jitsu, you know, and then you can
Yeah.
go
And
far. You can go far.
exactly, because once we accept that there is no end to this, there's no like, okay, after I reach this, that's
Mm,
it. I'm a full-fledged, full-grown jujitsu
yeah,
practitioner. I'm the
yeah,
master.
yeah,
And speaking to what you were saying just now, like, you have to keep practicing to be practicing. You have to keep doing jujitsu to get good
yeah.
at jujitsu, because one, like, I feel like the this particular like jujitsu right now, it's such a new thing and everybody's getting into it. So um it's an innovative phase for
Mm,
jiu-jitsu right now.
mm,
Like we see, like the Danaher Death Squad, they are revolutionizing the leg locking and things like
mm,
that, where nobody, not to say nobody, but
yeah,
it's not as popular back then, right? And now it's like the whole thing. Everybody wants to do leg
yeah,
locking, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So one, I feel like to stay relevant, having that childlike curiosity and
Mm,
mindset, going into roles or going into sessions, it's very very important. And also, uh, then that's number one. Number two, also, if you take yourself, this personally what I tell my students also, like, if you take yourself too seriously, 50% of it, you're already blocking yourself mentally.
mm,
I feel you're not going to be able to receive, or retain information, because you're like, I have to do this, I have to do this right, I have to do this right. No, you're not doing it. You're so hard on yourself, I feel,
mm.
and you're not allowing, what is supposed to come naturally, um, um, and make it stick, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know if I'm
yeah.
making
No,
sense.
that makes all the sense. That makes all the sense in the world because I believe
Yeah.
in organic and natural growth more than anything.
Yeah.
It has to come naturally to it. If it doesn't come naturally
Yeah.
to you, you're forcing it, you're forcing it, forcing it, and it's just not happening, just
Yeah.
let it be for a while. It's okay. Like it's okay. Like because once you, like you said, it's true. Once you start focusing on getting good, suddenly your focus becomes like getting good. That's the focus.
Yes.
It's not like I'm receiving, I'm chilling, I'm learning, I'm taking, I'm picking up, picking up, picking up. Your focus suddenly shifts to like this like 100% on trying to just do something well,
Yeah.
and that's just not. I don't know. It's not sustainable, man. It's not
Yeah. And
sustainable.
it's not the entirety of it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You got to get the whole holistic approach, right? Like, so I love competing. Personally, I love competing. That's why I stayed for so long. But
Yeah.
it's not the only thing, Like, there's
Yes.
so much more to jiu-jitsu than just competing. There's the community. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
huge part of jiu-jitsu community, right? And then there's
Yes.
teaching,
Yeah.
um, which is a whole new world, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Teaching has been amazing. Like the feeling is so fulfilling. It's nice lah. It's a nice like if you when you compete, yeah, you feel like you're charged up and it boosts your ego when you win and stuff like that. But like when you instruct and when you teach, you then start to realize how limited your knowledge is,
Yes.
in the art. And that
Yeah.
is again, it goes back to the start of jiu-jitsu and you're
Yes.
like, oh, okay, actually I joined jiu-jitsu because I wanted to learn. I wanted to have
Yeah.
fun, I wanted to do this. Like sometimes if you streamline into one thing for too much, then it becomes like not natural lah.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. Like, it's just not natural. Like no human should behave that way, Like
Then
if
it
you're a
becomes very
competitor, yeah.
robotic.
It's robotic, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
Understand. So
have
let
the
me ask you
whole
something.
mm,
Sorry, sorry. I keep cutting you because
it's okay, it's
I
okay, no
thought that
problem.
it's like
No, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. I talk a lot, it's okay.
no, you're
Just
fine.
cut me
Okay.
off.
Speaking about teaching and instructing, right?
Mm,
Let me ask you, like, have you found that when you transitioned, when you started teaching, in the first maybe a year or so, like, do you find yourself improving more, or like faster, or like gaining insight? How has your perspective on jiu-jitsu changed when you
yes.
started teaching?
Yes, definitely 100%.
Tell me how.
I was able to create a system for myself because I had to say it
Mm,
out loud. I had to structure it for people to understand, and
yes,
when you structure for people to understand, suddenly it makes sense for you also at the same time,
yes,
right? I think that should be
definitely.
the same for you also, right? When you start teaching, because like when you're learning, it's like everything is just there,
Yeah.
it's just the knowledge is there, but somewhere in your head or somewhere in your brain or somewhere there, lah, right? But when you start to teach it, when you start to express it, then
Yes.
suddenly it becomes something that, and I talk to my students at Flow a lot about this. Like your for me, what happens is that my game, like my Jitsu, suddenly becomes an object I can see. So
Yes.
it's like a tangible thing. Like, okay, I'm gonna take this out here, put this there, take this out here, take this there. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
yeah, so that's
You
basically
do it
how,
in
like,
Matrix.
yeah, you literally get into the matrix and like, and like suddenly there's like a thing in front of you. I'm like, holy fuck, that's my game. That's
And you're
that's
able
cool,
to
bro.
analyze,
Yeah.
analyze yourself better, like what we need to work on for ourselves. And when you see it on other people, you recognize it within yourself. So as it serves as a reminder as well, oh,
Mm.
maybe I shouldn't do that as well, that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And what I have felt for a while since like even Pearl Belt was this thing called imposter syndrome. Have you heard of that before?
Oh,
Imposter
tell me
syndrome.
about it.
I
I'm still going
struggle with
through
that
it
a
now.
lot. I struggle with that a lot, man. I struggle with that a lot. I get constant
Because one,
reminders.
you're so young.
Yeah. I'm so young and like you say, I don't take myself very seriously at all.
Right.
Like
Right.
if you like me and my bros, me and my fiance Mila, like me and my, like we are constantly shit talking. Okay, constantly. Like nothing ever really serious. Like if it gets serious for me, I get like, which is something I
Yeah.
have to work on personally. I think like I can be serious, but like, do I want to be serious? I'd rather not. I'd rather chill. And that's why Jisoo has worked kind of like to my favor in that sense, because Jisoo's culture is like discipline has to be there for sure. Jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
discipline is very important.
Yeah.
The principles and all the nilai murni lah, all the what have yous lah, right? All the values are important. But at the same time, Jiu-jitsu itself preaches this whole no ego thing, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's another topic that we can go deep into, right? Because like ego is of course relevant and there. Ego will be there in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
don't I don't agree with the fact that with the saying like, oh, there's no ego and all that. There is ego. You just have to
Yes.
manage it, right? And for
Yes.
me personally, I found managing it is like not taking myself too seriously.
Yeah.
I hope that newer people who come in can learn something from that, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're a blue belt, you're a competitor, you're looking for like a new sponsor, you got to hustle, like right on, bro. Like get that hustle, get that grind. Know what it's like, go for it. But at the same time, you know, have fun.
Yeah.
Most importantly, have fun. Because
Yes.
like anything in the world, if you don't enjoy doing it, you're gonna burn out.
Oh,
And when you burn out, you're just gonna stop doing it, man. And when you stop doing it,
yes.
then jiu-jitsu loses someone else. That's how I feel when someone stops.
Right.
Jiu-jitsu loses someone else, and it sucks. It absolutely
Yeah.
sucks for me. Like I'll lose a friend, I'll lose a
Yeah.
bro that I'm hanging out with all the time on the mat, and that person leaves,
Yeah.
and they have their own reasons to leave, and I'm not gonna stop them. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm sad. I feel
Yeah.
bad. I feel sad. I feel sad. Like, oh man, like, I can't train with this guy anymore. Kind of like
Yeah.
that one with this. It's just like, yeah, and it stems from
Yeah.
the fact that you just chill, man.
Mm-hmm. Because
Yeah,
of
it's
one
okay.
thing, and we don't know how to manage it, and we let it, uh, inflate. We
Yeah, it
subconsciously
consumes us.
inflate
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and it
Mm,
consumes us all. And then when you get to the burnout point, yeah, actually, I was gonna ask you
mm,
about burnout because I am experiencing it right now because I haven't stopped
nice.
working since
Mm,
since
nice.
last Christmas.
You need to relax, girl.
I am
Chill,
taking next week off,
chill.
so
Nice, nice. Yes, treat yourself. Treat yourself. This is a pandemic we're going through. I feel like, there
yeah,
needs to be said a bit more. It's a pandemic,
yeah,
man. It's not easy. Like, I mean, we're
yeah,
lucky that we still have things that we can do, but like
yes,
at the same time, right? Like there
yeah,
are essential things that we can't go out. What's that doing to our mental health? We can't be outside. We can't socialize so much.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So be easy on yourself, man.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I feel like the kindest thing that I can do to myself and therefore to my students in the future, in the nearest future, is to take care of myself first, so that I have,
Yeah.
when I fill my cup already, then other people benefit from the overflow from my filled cup. So I have to do that lah next week. So speaking of burnout, how do you avoid burning out? Because like I see, I have actually funny story. I have the last year I visited Penang twice,
Mm.
and both times I've trained at Flow with Carl.
Mm.
Oh, big
Shout
shout out
out
to
to
Carl, Carl
Kyle,
Iman.
Kyle, Iman, young Jamie, hooking us up. Young Jamie hooking us up. He told me to say something, but I totally forgot, bro. I'm so sorry,
It's okay. Later
man.
he'll DM us.
Yeah. Shout out to Kyle, man. Great guy, dude. Great guy. I love having conversations with him. Such an open-minded guy, man.
Amazing. Exactly, and he's been through so much as well. So he was the
Yeah.
one who I reached out in the first place to ask for recommendations for gyms, BJJ
Mm.
gyms in KL, and he was the one who got me into jiu-jitsu actually. Um, yeah, when I visited Carl last year in Penang, I went to
Mm.
Flow. I trained at Flow twice, and
Yeah.
both times you weren't there.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I think the first time I had like really bad diarrhea. I think because like my stomach couldn't. I was trying to adapt to the Penang food, and I
Too
was
much
like
pasang
really,
bola.
yeah, too much everything, dude. Man, like
Char
Penang
kway
food is
teow,
so good, dude. Char kway teow, everything,
cendol.
dude, and like chendol, everything, dude. The second time, I think, when did you come by the second time?
I came back in
On the weekend, right?
October.
On the
Yes.
weekend. I go
Yeah.
back to KL on the weekend, some weekends.
Ah,
Yeah, so I do like because my work schedule there is Monday to Friday, Saturday,
yes.
Sunday. I so the deal was to try and come back here so I can get my own training too. So I come back to
Ah,
KL and I'll do my training here. And of course my fiance is here, so my
yeah.
family is also here. So I try my best to back and forth between here and there.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
there's the few times that you came over. The first one is just unlucky. The second time was just bad timing lah. Just bad timing.
So
Unfortunate,
the
yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Kalau ada, what do you say? If it's meant to be, it'll be. So I
Yeah, yeah,
confirm I'll get the train
yeah.
under you one of these days. So
Oh, would love to
speaking
have you, man.
of,
Love to have
thank you. So speaking of your schedule at Flow, like you said, you're teaching Monday to Friday,
you.
and it's an everyday thing, and it's not just one person; it's a group class thing. So you're giving a lot of energy, and I would say, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm
Mm,
assuming wrong. Like you are a quite high energy person. You give a lot to
mm,
others, and
mm.
when you're teaching, it's like yo da 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 da,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, what are some of the ways that you do to avoid or manage burnout on, just not reaching the point of burning out? Even though we are doing the things that we love, like I love music, but I cannot do it's not everything in my life, right? So,
mm,
I'm sure that's for you as well. Like, as much as you
mm.
love and are passionate about jujitsu, I cannot English, shit.
It's okay.
You have to take a step back once in a while so that you don't go
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think I was, and this is like a shout out to my grandpa and my mom for teaching me this at a very young age, because they taught me how to compartmentalize things really well
Mm,
and organize my feelings and my thoughts pretty, like in a way that works for me. Maybe I don't know if they like
yeah,
consciously thought it or it's just something that I picked up from them, but
yeah.
yeah, so like I compartmentalize very heavy. I need a very strict time schedule for myself. And when it's
Mm,
off, it's off. When it's on, it's on. It's just as simple as that for me. Like I hope it doesn't sound shallow as an answer, but like it is. Like if it's like when I'm off, I'm off. Like I'm playing games. I'm like chilling with my fiance or like playing with my cats. Just doing life
yeah.
things, just living life like a normal human being. And then when it's time
Yes.
to work, it's time to work. And I'm so
Yes.
lucky that I get to do what I love for work. So I'm
Yes.
always fucking grateful for that. And what has also helped me from that from that to not burn out was the fact that I was training jiu-jitsu and teaching jiu-jitsu throughout my whole college and university years.
Oh,
And that was tough. That was fucking tough because you have to balance college and uni and jiu-jitsu, right? So now I don't have
yes.
that anymore. I mean, like, luckily I don't know how I passed, but I made it through uni and college, and I made it to uni and college, and now I just feel like jiu-jitsu is just it's easy, man. It's so easy.
Mm,
Like it's just like, okay, this is what I do. This is what I'm supposed to do in my life. This is
yeah,
like my calling. So like I'm
yeah,
gonna just do it. I'm gonna just do it,
yeah,
and that's how I feel every time I step on the mat. So it's a feeling of gratitude. I think also practicing a lot of self-reflection and feeling grateful for the art that I do, for the position I'm in, to be able to teach people, for people to
yeah,
trust me to teach them. To until today it's still very jarring whenever people call me like coach, or like, I'm still like, people still call me adik. You know what I mean? Like adik is still like how I go by. So I'm like, okay lah, adik lah. But when I hear coach and all that, it's a huge responsibility. And I just
yes.
hope to live up to it lah. That's the biggest thing. I hope I can
And you
do a good
are,
job.
you know.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you. I
Like
hope I am, man.
yeah, the way that you talk about it, the way that like I said, like as a outsider, when you post things or when you go on
Mm,
Instagram live, like that there's no I don't sense any hesitancy or any doubt in what you're saying, and you're embodying lah, like I really do feel that. And so yeah, anyways, we'll have more of the I appreciate you, I am grateful for you, that one after lah.
Sure. No problem.
So let me get into something a little bit more detailed with what's going on the mats and rolling and things like
Mm,
that. So we've covered
sure.
the five fundamental principles
Mm.
for
That might
um,
change. That
yes,
might
that might
change
change,
in
subject to
6 months or a year.
changes.
Subject to changes. Subject to change. Jiu-Jitsu is always changing, especially for me, man.
Yes,
It's always changing. It's always evolving, man. So
yeah,
you gotta keep up with the times. Like
yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. Yeah, the biggest mistake.
Biggest mistakes.
Don't yeah, do not follow. Yeah, I mean, like, it's very important. It's important to have your own principles, of course, but it's
Yeah.
also very important to adapt. I think you have to
Ah,
adapt. Yeah, adapting is key, especially in an art like
yes.
this. That's always evolving and changing.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And it works for,
Mm.
I think it works with anything, isn't it? The only constant
Yeah.
is change.
Yeah, truly. It truly is. You have to constantly adapt. Serious. Like, no joke. You
Yes.
have to really adapt with everything, your surroundings. Everything
Yeah.
is constant. There's just chaos in this world. Who would have expected 2 years ago that today was going to be like this? Anyway, before we stray into that, yes, on the
Before we
detail,
go
detail. Yeah,
spiral.
super. Yeah, into the rabbit hole. Let's go back to the topic at hand.
I like to see what we can talk about on
Mm,
off screen.
yeah, yes.
Okay, so a few of the questions that I've written down, because honestly, this podcast is it's for selfish reasons.
Mm,
I've been wanting to learn, wanting to ask, and oftentimes I'm not sure who to ask. So
mm,
what uh hmm, okay, let me go with this first. So can you give like an example, or like if you could give not give like each belt, we have white belt, blue,
mm,
purple, brown, and black, right?
mm.
So what would you say is the key focus for each belt?
Okay, okay, okay. White belts. Okay,
Yes.
as a white belt, again, back to the five core principles. I think it's just most important to be a sponge. Okay, you're a sponge. You just accept information and you just trial and error. A sponge scientist. That's what you should aspire to be. A sponge scientist as a white belt. You go in every role testing all the variables, your manipulative variable, your responding variable, and your constant
Your
variable,
hypotheses.
your hypotheses, all your findings. Okay, you keep it in your brain or write it on your notes. But everything is most of the work is going to be input. Okay,
Yeah.
any sort of like, if you have an experimental mind as a white belt, that's like kudos, good job.
Mm.
You're one of the lucky ones, because Jiu-Jitsu is like, it's built in a way where it favors people who like to try things without really fearing much consequence, whether it's your
Yeah.
ego, your pride, your feelings, your emotions, or whatever. Because it is that way. It's such a scientific thing in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's white belt.
I call it body
Put simply.
physics.
Yeah, exactly. It's like biophysics. Yeah, body anatomy. Yes, body physics.
Yeah.
Okay, white belt, spine scientist. You just chill, take everything in, try it out, fail, write the notes, and then carry on again. At a blue belt level, you start to formulate a bit of your game, not the most detailed. In fact, it's probably going to be shit. But but you have an understanding. A slight understanding of what to do in jiu-jitsu. Like we can like, as a blue belt, I feel like, and this is just purely jiu-jitsu, not the value side, but this is just purely jiu-jitsu, right? Blue belts should be able to attack in the minimum basic.
Eh.
Attack, attack, right? And have some sort of path to victory. Okay, not a clear path, not the
Yeah.
most, not the best path. Like let's say we go from here to, KD, right? KD to Ampang, the best way is probably like Duke, right? If you're a blue
Yes.
belt, you probably don't know Duke exists, but you want to get to Ampang, and you probably take the old jungle road, and then you hop onto an MRT, and then from the MRT you take a bus, and then you end up in Ampang like a day later or something like that,
Yes.
right? So that's your blue belt attacking game. Okay, it's there, but it's fucking inefficient. It's just inefficient.
Mm,
That's normally how
mm.
it is. As a purple belt, when you go into the purple level, you start to mature. Your game starts to mature. You start to realize like, oh, okay, there's a shit ton of
So
stuff I
fine
don't really like to
tuning.
use. Yeah, you start to fine tune. You start to fine tune your game. And again, this is not like all. This is not like
Yeah.
a general rule of thumb. There's a lot of
Yeah.
schools of thoughts for this. But this is like, I don't know, just like from observation, from what I've seen lah, and personal
Mm,
experience, and also some YouTube videos. So the when you get into the purple belt level, you start to
yeah.
see that the the uh, the scope becomes more and more narrow. The moves that
Yeah.
you use are not as much as the blue belt level, but they become better. You get better at doing them. You start to build a bit of sensitivity,
Mm,
timing, understanding. Like, okay, I think this is where the route I should go, and then the path becomes a bit easier. You start to realize
mm.
also that maybe as a blue to purple, your rolls maybe don't get as hard, because
Yeah.
you might think your cardio has gotten better, but in fact, actually, your efficiency in hitting the moves has increased. So you actually use less energy for more results lah, right? So that's the
Mm-hmm.
purple belt level, and this is like simplified. And then the
Mm-hmm.
brown belt level, which is the level that I'm at right now,
Mm-hmm.
I think you learn about pressure, whether it's from bottom or top. You start to learn about pressure. You start to really slow down your game, and then you
Mm.
also start to open up your game again slightly, just to balance it out. Because in purple belt, personally, and this is something that I went through myself, I started to play a lot of HQ, X pass, leg drag, berimbolo in the purple belt level in the gi. Okay, and I
Oh.
focused so much on that. I competed with that. I even used most of it in my no gi game
Yeah.
until I encountered the cross ankle, and I started to use that often.
Mm.
But I refined it so much that I got how to say, like the move was how do you say it, like textured. What's the synonym for textured? So the move was like fine lah. It was fine, like,
Ah.
you know
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's fine. The move just
Refined.
refined. The move was so refined. Exactly, it was so refined
Yes.
that I kind of like overlooked a lot of things also in jiu-jitsu. That's the thing about jiu-jitsu,
Ah.
right? Like we talked about at the start, like it's so much
Yes.
time. There's so much time. When you put time into one thing, the
Yeah.
opportunity cost is you lose out on all these things. That's the reality,
Right.
right?
Right.
You start to lose out on all, like, so my defense wasn't so good at the purple belt level. My top side pressure wasn't so good as well. So to
Mm.
me, like in my head, that's a limitation I told myself. I went to the brown
Mm.
belt with that mindset, like, okay,
Mindset.
I am going to improve my pressure game, my defense game, my that one game. So everything is starting to balance out. And at the brown belt level, I
Ah.
think, yeah. And also the brown belt level, I think a lot of brown belts start teaching. I think
Yeah.
personally, if I were to grade in the future, like 10, 15 years, if I were to grade my brown belts, I would have them teach I think it's a really, really important thing to teach. It is because not everyone can teach. Not everyone can teach. Like you can
Yes.
be a really good competitor, you can be a very good practitioner, but you can't teach. And teaching is
Yes.
very important in an art like this.
Oh, oh no. I think. Sorry, guys. We were in the middle of a conversation. So, this is what happens when it's MCO and we have to do things virtually with internet as our god. So, today, the internet is not as gracious. So, but yes, Abang is signing back in. Let me put him back on.
Sorry, it completely crashed. Everything just completely crashed. So sorry, guys.
No, everything okay? Everything settled?
Yeah, it's all good. I hope
Awesome.
so. Every time the 1 hour mark is when IT just tech decides to not work. Every time it's 1 hour, pop, cancel.
Like, what
It's
is this
like
guy
that.
doing? Wasting battery. Let
Yeah,
me just
what?
shut him down.
Legit. Anyway, what we're talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah, the brown
So,
belt level, right?
yeah.
Once
But
you
can
get
I
to the
play
brown
the
belt level,
devil's advocate a
yeah,
little
sure, please
bit?
do.
So this is something that I heard in a recent Joe Rogan podcast, and he interviewed John Danaher, right?
Hmm,
So Rogan was asking Danaher about, like, uh, why does he focus so much only on a specific skill set and not trying to balance out, because like the DSS, Danaher Death Squad, DDS, sorry, they
yeah,
are mostly known, actually mainly known for their leg locking thing,
hmm,
and they would always go for that. It's like they're the best at it, lah, right? So people know them for it. So Rogan was asking, like, why don't they spend more time developing other skills as well? And Dana was saying, like, if he's good at something, if they are good at something, like, he wants them to be, the master of that particular skill. So
hmm,
everything else can be, not to say meh, but you have to balance it out. But basically what he said was like, why waste time uh focusing on weakness rather than strengthening your strengths, I
hmm,
guess.
yeah.
So yeah,
Actually,
that's
I
the.
totally agree with that, and that's how I personally teach. I like to get people to
Mm,
find a game, and then they really
mm,
specialize at that, and then
mm.
slowly in the future, once they get bored of the game, then they change it up. Mm. So
Understand.
that's what I mean by balance. It's not like I teach everything, or like it's not like you have to learn everything. At white belt
Yeah.
level, yes, you just input as much as you can, and then find your weapon. Have you played
Yeah.
Monster Hunter before?
No, what is
Okay,
that?
okay. Monster Hunter, right, is this game where you like they give you like 14 weapons, right? And you each weapon has a different set of moves, a different set
Mm,
of like outcomes, and is good for different
mm,
monsters and stuff like this. Jiu-Jitsu is just the
mhm,
same. You have a lot of
mm.
tools, right? And you
Yeah.
should be able to decide what is your game and then
Mm,
improve on that to a point where like you become depends lah how far you want to take it, right? If you're a
yeah.
competitor, then of course you want to be like either the greatest in the world or greatest in the country or whatever your goals are. You have to bring
Mm,
that move to that level, right? But
mm.
at the same time, if that move is the only move that you have, it's gonna fuck you up because people are gonna
Yep.
learn all the counters. People are gonna learn all the counters to it. But the on the flip side of that is that if you have a move that you are known for, like the DDS did grow with the whole heel hook game. They played
Mm.
inside.
Oh,
They
heel
played all
hook.
those.
Sorry, not leg
Yeah, heel
locking.
hook. Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry.
The heel hook game, they
Yeah.
even like Lachlan and the guys at Absolute MMA, they also like use a leg lock as a transport tool to kind of like scare opponents in a sense. So it's also a
Mm.
psychological thing. Like when people hear like, oh, this guy is good at this,
Yeah.
their focus starts to become, going to focus on defending. Excuse me, sorry. Their focus is going to be, I'm going to defend his game rather than me impose my game. And that
Understand.
always brings you in a upper. That puts you in upper like a upper advantageous position, right? When you fight, because when
Yeah.
you fight, you gotta always be on top. It's simple as that. Whether and
Yes.
ironically, top or bottom in Jiu-Jitsu, there's a top and bottom, right? But you have to be on top, basically. Whether it's like over
Yes.
here, if it's cardio, if it's technique, if it's whatever, you gotta be ahead, right?
Yeah.
And to be ahead, if you get the opponent, and this is my own personal philosophy of how I compete, if
Yes.
you get your opponent to step in your game,
Oh no, Abang, sorry. Can you repeat that one more
oh,
time?
sorry.
Lag again.
Sure.
Oh no. It's okay,
Sure.
guys. Be
If
patient,
okay,
yeah.
okay, tell me when.
All right. We back, huh? Okay, cool. Let's do that one more time. Can you repeat what you said?
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so basically, my personal philosophy of competing is that when you get the guy to start to focus on your game, that means
Yeah.
he is a step behind because he's thinking of what
Mm.
you're gonna do when you're just thinking of what you're gonna do, right? And
Yeah.
that's just like you see the DDS guys when they win, they just focus on what they're gonna do most of the time. They
Yes.
impose the game, whether it's leg locks. Now they are transitioning away from leg locks. It's like they're
Mm.
rebranding in a sense, right? They're rebranding their game to like yeah, like Craig Jones wrestled Thai over the week. Was it Thai Arcade on the Rotulo Bros? Instead of going for leg locks, he tried to wrestle, and they're starting to move more towards the back. They open up like
Mm.
guillotines and stuff like this. But yeah, that's the thing. Like
Ah.
you kind of like build a game around something strong first, and this
Yeah.
is especially important for competitive training, not just for like.
Mm.
I mean, if you're training for as a hobby or like you just simply love the art, right? And that's fine, man. Like if you just want to train for the sake of training, bro, welcome, dude. Like just come and train, man. Like this,
And
you
have
don't need to
fun.
compete. Yeah, have fun. You don't need to
Yeah.
compete when you join jiu-jitsu. You can still
Yeah.
use jiu-jitsu for self-defense, for self-confidence. I think a lot of
Definitely.
people gain confidence. For me, it helped with my anger issues. And like as a kid, I
You
was very yeah, I was
angry?
very angry. Yeah, as a kid, I was very angry. Today, I mean, nowadays, I still can get angry, but like, it's a really, really, it was humbling. It's real lah. That's the biggest thing about jiu-jitsu. I feel like it's very real. It keeps you honest, keeps you in check, and it keeps you. So if you want to train it for those kind of reasons, that's also great,
Yeah.
right? And you don't have
Yeah.
to like focus your game so much on just one thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to
Yeah.
build a more complete game. So going back to the point, yeah, with Danaher saying that, yeah, I specialize in one thing, I totally agree. Especially because
Yeah.
I personally am a competitive coach. Like I teach most of my jiu-jitsu for sports jiu-jitsu. I hope to learn more self-defense and then teach self-defense in the future. But right now, I'm not confident to do that. It's a huge
Ah.
responsibility to teach self-defense, by the way.
Yes.
It's huge. Like, what if the person that you taught is going in and into like a real life altercation and he or she dies,
Right.
thinking that he can defend himself with
Right.
jiu-jitsu, and suddenly he gets stabbed by a person behind him or something. It's
Yeah.
yeah, like jiu-jitsu didn't save me then, right? So fine, I'm the person liable, the fucker who's just
Right.
telling, oh yeah, you do this in a real life. I've never been in a real life confrontation, like I've never been like shown like a gun in my head. I've never been through that. I live in KL. It's relatively safe here. I don't live like in the Bronx or some shit. Like I'm fine. you know I do this for
Yes.
sport, so I'm gonna teach it as that.
Yes.
But I think one aspect of self-defense that does come from competitive jiu-jitsu is a self-confidence. You carry yourself in a
Definitely.
confident manner, and that
Yeah.
that also that prevents a lot of street some like altercations and crimes
Altogether.
happening to you. Yeah, when you carry yourself
Definitely.
with confidence and like just chill. Also, I feel like if you train jiu-jitsu a lot and you go on the streets, you don't feel like fighting because you're so tired all the time and sore.
Your knees cannot
Sore,
take it
your
anymore. Might as
knees
well just
can't take
run.
it. Yeah, it's like, hey, bro, how about we don't, man? Like, I'm just trained, bro. I'm so tired, dude. Can I just chill?
What you want take lah? I don't want to
Yeah,
fight.
take lah, take lah. I don't have much. I do not have much, actually.
I gave it all to my gym. Take lah.
Yeah, take the rest, man. I had my dinner already. Go lah, take lah. Carry on, carry on.
Yeah, but what you were saying is so true because like after I started jujitsu, right? I could feel one. I got the childlike mindset, the curiosity back again, and number two, as a girl, as a woman, to
Mm.
be able to, fall safely, to be able to um, have that okay, if I do get into an altercation with somebody, at least I can think of a few ways to escape, to kind of defend myself, and that subconsciously brought so much more. It's not like this aggro confidence, right? But this like um calm
Mm.
acceptance of, if anything happens, I first thing I'm gonna do is run, get away,
Yeah.
But if
That's the
I
best
can,
self-defense. Train those knees. Jogging is the best
Ex-
self-defense.
sprint lah.
Sprint and jog is the best self-defense.
But if plan A fails, if escaping, running away fails, at least I know what my capabilities are, kind of, and that gave me so much reassurance as a woman, and that was very, very empowering. So that was life changing for me. So yeah.
Yeah,
So I agree
that's
with
huge.
your, yeah.
No, that's huge. I talked to my fiance a lot about this. She also trains. She's a blue
Yeah.
belt, and
Yeah.
and we talk a lot about like realistic events in which jiu-jitsu becomes relevant in self-defense. And the biggest one I think is like going to the club,
Yes.
like when you're going to a club or a bar and someone tries to hit on you and whatever, they're
Yeah.
not gonna carry a knife or a gun. Hopefully lah. Hopefully the
Mm-hmm.
bars and clubs that you guys go to do not have these kind of policies where you bring guns and knives. If you're into that shit, I'm not gonna judge. That's pretty cool also. But like you know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
if this guy tries to hit on you and he starts pushing and pushing and pushing,
Yeah.
if you go to the bar with like the girls and or like you go alone, then you just want to have a beer or like have a drink and chill
Yeah.
at a bar, you feel safe. And you feel
Yes.
safe because you're confident and you're calm. And that's the
Yes.
best
Because
feeling
you're
ever.
calm.
You're calm. You're just calm. It's just like whatever happens, I know I have it under control. And that's okay.
Yes.
That's good. You know?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
most important thing, and I think that puts away a lot of guys trying to hit on you, trying to like mess with your vibe. You know what I mean? If you just say like
Yeah.
no, I'm not interested, or like no, they can feel
Yeah.
it. They can feel like,
Yes.
oh shit, okay, you can't fuck with this. Like because a lot of guys,
Yes.
a lot of guys still don't know how to take no for an answer at the bars.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's just
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, very unfortunate. But like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So
It's
we
like
wrist lock them
yeah, wrist lock them, RNC them, and still look good, and you can still dance after that. You can still have a
in
good
your
night.
high heels.
Yeah, in your high heels, just RNC them. They go to sleep. Okay lah, you can move on. Can carry on with your
Yeah.
life.
In six
Yeah,
seconds, cow team settle
done.
next.
Settle. So like close, really close quarters. I think jiu-jitsu is king in that sense when it comes to self-defense. But when it
Yeah.
comes to like on the street, where like I think the variables are way more.
Yeah.
Like if they come with like twos or threes, you
Yeah.
know,
Run.
that's when Jitsu, yeah, run. That's when Jitsu can become a bit void in that sense. Especially like
Yes.
modern Jitsu, right? You're not gonna bolo on the street. You know what I mean? You're
Oh,
just
sakit,
gonna
sakit, sakit.
okay, jog. I haven't warm up. You know?
Ayo, the
Yeah.
street, the road too bumpy. Cannot.
Yeah, legit. Like, oh yo, you know? So in that sense, I would say like more fiercely self-defense martial arts like Krav Maga,
Yeah.
like Arnis, this kind of like more street focused martial arts.
Yeah.
They could practically it's more realistic in the self defense realm. But not to say again, not to
Mm.
say that Jiu-Jitsu is not good for self defense. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that it's more for like one on one. And even if you like watch the Gracies talk about it also.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
I love the Gracie breakdown, and
Yeah.
Hannah, his energy is
And
like
yeah.
150%. Like, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
guys, no,
Yeah.
32 principles, drop today. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, Hannah is cool, man. Hannah is the cool Gracie,
Yeah.
dude.
Yes,
Yeah,
for
she's the cool
sure. And
Gracie.
I
Yeah.
like what him and what especially his wife Eve,
Mm.
right? Eve
Yeah.
Torres, like the if a man grabs you by the ponytail, what
Yeah,
should you
yeah,
do? How
yeah,
can you
yeah.
get away?
Yeah. I mean, he
That
does a
was
lot
super
for
cool.
jiu-jitsu. He does a lot for like modern self-defense, kind of like this. not to say they kind of put jiu-jitsu in the spotlight, but also in a still in a very real sense, which is very important, I feel,
Yeah,
for an
real
art
life
like jiu-jitsu.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on, sorry, melayang a bit already.
Yeah, normal lah. Malaysian kan.
This is gonna be worse when if we sit down in a mama and like talk, man. It's gonna be like at
Yeah,
least
man.
4 or 5
Just
hours. All right, so I think we have covered, like the mindset for competition, training routine and
Mm,
things like that because we meshed everything.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So actually, one more thing, two or three more things, and then I want to be mindful of your time and things like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
okay, the difference between uh girl and guys training,
Mm,
like
mm.
at first, I'm gonna give my experiences a little
Yes,
bit
yes.
lah. Like as a first timer stepping onto the mat and seeing all boys, like don't get me wrong, AOS they're super welcoming. Mike is great, and the people that I train with they're amazing. Like you see people from all walks of life lah. But if you didn't know who they were beforehand, it can be very intimidating, especially for a girl, because you really have to get super close contact with them, right? So are there differences between girls and a guys training, and how often should we cross train? That kind of thing.
This is a very difficult question. I
I'm
feel like
sorry.
no, it's good. It's good that we're talking about it because,
Yeah,
um, like you said, jiu-jitsu is a very intimate sport in a
yeah.
sense where we are like literally trading sweat, you know, and like you
I
said,
swallowed sweat
jiu-jitsu.
before.
Yeah, yeah. Like in jiu-jitsu, especially in Malaysia, we still don't really have a huge girls community, which is
Yeah,
building, which is okay. The community is building, but how important is it to cross train? I think it's important for the culture of the gym for
mm,
the girls and guys to get along. It has to be
mm,
natural, of course. Like there's whatever, like there should be no forcing. Consent is
mm.
everything. You know,
Yeah,
if the girl doesn't want to roll with the guy and I'm observing and like the girl says no, then it's
yeah,
a no lah. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like she doesn't
Or
feel
if a
comfortable
guy
rolling
doesn't
with
want to
you.
roll with a
Yeah,
girl,
same.
yeah,
You know, or a guy doesn't want to roll with a guy or a girl doesn't want to roll with a girl. If they say no because of this reason, then it's a no. You know, the
yeah,
consent is very, very important. And
yeah.
like it becomes very tricky, like we talked about earlier, right? With the guy who abused the power and used it,
Oh
he
yes.
used it against girls, unfortunately, you know. And it's it's for me it angers me, you know, because
Mm.
as a for me as an instructor, as a coach, like I wouldn't ever cross that boundary, you know, and it's
Definitely. Yeah,
logical to me, you know, it's just
yeah, yeah,
logical. Like, of course, you don't do that stuff. You don't do
yeah,
that. You just simply don't do that. As a human being, you don't, you just don't cross that boundary, especially like
yeah,
if it's a girl and a guy or like anything in that realm. You don't do that lah, right? Like if it's
yeah,
consent, if it's not consented means no. They just don't carry on, right?
yeah,
But it at the same time you want to have a friendly environment between guy and girl interactions, and you want them to be supportive of each other, and I believe guys and girls should train with each
yeah,
other because they both bring a in a jiu-jitsu sense, they both bring different elements into the role.
yeah.
Intensity, I feel like when you roll with a girl you have to practice your technique a bit more. You don't want to use that
Mm-hmm.
strength unless the girl is fucking strong. They just the roll normally, right? That's totally fine. But in that sense that a guy what challenge it challenges the guy's technical abilities, and this is like generals because we're assuming that the guy is bigger than the girl here, right?
Yeah.
The
Or
guy
and
would have to have,
stronger.
yeah, and stronger, right?
Yeah.
So we assume that the guy has to lower his strength and use more technical prowess to overcome this female sparring partner. And the
Mm-hmm.
female sparring partner would then have to find more creative and strategic ways to overcome somebody bigger, which is again part of the whole art, right? A smaller
Yes.
person trying to overcome a larger assailant, right? So in that
Yes.
sense, I feel like it is essential. It is still needed in a gym, especially in Malaysia. Like you went into a gym where you were the only girl. If you couldn't train with guys, you couldn't train jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
Yes.
same as when I was now in MBJ there's a lot more girls, but when I first joined there was like two three ladies, excuse me, and like 15 guys, and they would just train with the guys. Luckily there was none of this abuse of going on,
Power
right? There's
thing.
no
Yeah, 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 yeah.
harassment, no power abuse, and that was going on, so that's
Yeah,
good. But
yeah.
yeah, it's tricky, man. It's tricky. It has to be taken to a case by case basis, but it's still essential for girls and guys to train together. If
Mm,
that answers the question.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I would say like a little caveat here, like girls, if you or even guys, like I believe
Mm,
guys can get molested, can get harassed as well, girls and guys alike. Like if you feel uncomfortable, speak up, tell your instructor, or if you feel uncomfortable speaking up to your instructor, tell somebody, tell management, tell another person that you trust, or like speak up and protect yourself first, because at the end of the day you're doing jiu-jitsu, you have to learn how to protect yourself. So
mm,
uh, now it's time for you to protect yourself another way lah. So
yeah.
always remember to speak up and protect yourself. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, even if it yeah, anyways, let me just leave
Yeah.
it there.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's so sad. What it really angers me, if you don't mind, I just go off a little bit here. Like, it really
Yeah,
angers me
yeah.
because Jiu-Jitsu is something I have found very sacred. Like it's
Hmm.
pure. Jiu-Jitsu is pure and it will always be pure as an art.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
humans, being humans, will always come in
Yes.
and do some fuck shit, right?
Yeah,
There'll
yeah.
always be some fuck shit, and it's
Hmm.
sad that even something as pure as Jiu-Jitsu has fuck shit like this.
Yeah, and it's because we're humans,
Yeah,
it's tainted. But I want to say people make mistakes, but some mistakes are inexcusable lah.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
should have known,
Especially if you're a full-grown adult, and like you know the consequences already. Like, there's no
definitely.
excuse for that kind of stuff, man. There's just no excuse.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that I haven't heard anything about this yet.
yeah.
So
Mm,
yeah, it's okay. We'll talk about it after. Just protect yourself, girls and guys, and
yeah.
treat each other with
Yes.
respect.
Consent. Yeah, respect and
Definitely.
consent, man. Consent is everything
Yeah.
because it's so physical. Jiu-Jitsu is so physical and intimate. It's so like up close in your face. You don't feel
Yes.
comfortable doing it, then you got to speak up, lah. Tell people
Yes.
about it. Tell your
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. All right.
Sorry,
So
it was a bit
moving on.
morbid, guys.
No, and it should be with everything. There are the pros and cons,
Yeah,
and with not cons. I don't think there's but
the
it's
reality
human
of
lah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
it's the traits of yeah. Anyways, okay. So
Mm,
speaking of awareness of the sport, like we're highlighting, the good and some of the things that we have to be wary of and things like that. I feel that you are doing an amazing job at bringing awareness of the gentle art of jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, amongst our community. And you're going you're doing Instagram lives, you're talking with different practitioner.
practitioners. Take three.
Cannot.
You'll get it this time.
Prac- practitioners.
Practitioners,
Shit.
yeah.
So and your fiance is Mila. She is
Mila, yeah.
doing jiu-jitsu as well. So you're all very involved in the sport, and you are bringing awareness to the sport, encouraging people to come, and you're bringing, I think, the most important thing of all, good vibes to the sport.
Yeah, love, man. Love, 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 love. That's what it's about, man.
Exactly, and
It's all
it's
about
so
love.
inviting. Yeah, so what do you think, as obviously I'm still very much in love with the sport, because I'm a newbie white belt. So I'm like the sponge scientist that you're talking about. Okay, give
It's
me
sponge scientist.
everything.
Yeah.
So I want to be, like, and I feel that it's changed my life. So if it's something good, I do feel uh um I want to spread the gospel of jujitsu if I
Yeah,
can, because
yeah.
I see the benefits within myself, and I know that I will continue doing this for as long as I can lah. So
Mm.
what are some of the ways, to bring more awareness of
To the
here
sport.
in Malaysia? Yeah, yeah, especially in Malaysia, because I feel it's a yeah.
In Malaysia, okay, realistically, it's tough because jiu-jitsu, I feel like jiu-jitsu alone, the sport itself, the actual jiu-jitsu art itself, is really not really catered for the Malaysian audience. Because, I mean, and I hope I don't sound horribly shallow and generalizable for this, but the Malaysians are lazy, lah. Right? Jiu-jitsu, in jiu-jitsu, you cannot be lazy, dude. You cannot be lazy, you know?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's very Malaysians have this like trend mindset, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whenever something is in trend, okay, we go in and we try, and then they
Yeah.
kind of like leave, right? Like with fly cycle, with like yoga, there's the people who are the real OGs. They're the real
Yeah.
OGs who have been there for a long time, and then it's a good thing that they went mainstream. But then they have
Mm.
those people who come in and then they just like join for a few months and they leave,
Yeah.
right? So it's gonna
Yeah.
be the same for jiu-jitsu. It was the same when Nima was around. It will be the same. It's just like that. It's gonna be like that, right? But I
Yes.
feel like what, and I hope it works. I don't even know, but I'm just trying. But what I feel like
Yeah.
will help bring jiu-jitsu to the people is the honest, authentic self. That's it.
Mm. Mm.
That's it, because
Yeah.
that's what jiu-jitsu is. I feel that's what martial arts
Yeah.
is. I feel, you know what I mean. Like you see like
Yeah.
GSP, you see like the real martial artists.
Oh,
They just,
GSP.
yeah, they're just they are unapologetically themselves,
Yes.
and if that caters to an audience, a Malaysian audience, that they feel like they can just be themselves and they want to be
Mm-hmm.
themselves, that's what
Mm-hmm.
martial arts and jiu-jitsu can bring for you. I feel that's what I
Yeah,
feel,
they
you know what I
converted
mean.
me lah. So.
Yeah, I mean, like in I feel, because you're asking how it can be something. I assume you're asking that how it can be something like more mainstream in a sense, and more
Yes,
like,
more mainstream.
right? Yeah, more
Yeah.
mainstream. I think this is the angle that it has to be sold at, in a sense, right?
Mm.
It has to be like you said, the gentle, welcoming, inviting, and then they start to see that it's you can just be you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it's done for
There's
me.
no
Like
pretending.
there's yeah, exactly. There's no pretending lah.
There's no
It's just
time to
like,
be pretending when you are
yeah,
fighting.
exactly. Like you can be like you're worried about your whole day. Like you got to get ready for
Yeah.
this presentation. You're gonna meet the CEO or that CEO, and you kind of have to put on this mask on how to sell Milo, the newest Milo invention, to him in like 10 minutes with a 20 slide pitch, and like in
Yeah.
deep down inside, you're thinking like, what the fuck is this actually? What am I
What am I
doing with
doing
my
this
life?
for?
Yeah, do I even care about Milo actually? And this fucking CEO that has his social media
Diabetes.
diabetes, fucking, I don't care. But I have to make money, right? I have to make money. I have to
Yes.
survive in the city. So I put on this
Yes.
mask, and then I go into the presentation room, and maybe I break down and cry, have a cigarette before that, go in, and then I'm like, okay, this is me now, for 10-15 minutes, this is me. I'm trying to convince this guy who has been working with Nestle for 30 years that I want to change the packet color to blue or some shit. I don't know. That kind of shit, like it goes in your mind. You're like, is this what I was meant to do in my life? The answer is
Yeah.
probably no lah. Unless maybe
Yeah.
it's yes. If it's yes, maybe cool. But
Yeah.
it's a high chance it's probably no. And when you take off that mask, that's what jiu-jitsu can do. That's what martial art can do. You
Yes.
can take off that mask. You can just be who you are, and
Yeah.
just live life happy, dude. You just live life
Oh,
happy because, like you just go in, okay, I know who I am, I know what I do, I know it's okay. I think also the biggest thing
definitely.
with martial arts is that you learn your limitations early.
Mm.
So that humbling experience, right? Especially if you live in the city. If you live in a city, you want to believe that you're limitless. You want to believe that you can be a CEO or something someday. You want to believe, because that's how you win the game. That's how you win the city
Yes.
game, right? You
Yes.
climb the ladder until you're the top honcho, and you shit on everyone, and you're
Yeah.
suddenly
And
the
you
winner of the
think
game.
you win.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
think you've won this illusion of a game, and like you think when you're up there you'll feel good about yourself. That's when you start to realize like, oh shit, actually I have done nothing with my life, you
Yes.
know. And you go into this deep crippling implosion and suddenly nothing makes sense. But if you have
Yes.
something like jiu-jitsu in your life, which
To keep you
reminds
in
you,
check.
yeah, keeps you in check and reminds you you're just human, that you
Yeah.
have limitations, that you can go a certain point, but it's okay to be there. You know, it's okay to fail. It's okay to look silly.
Yeah.
It's okay to be human, basically,
It's okay to
right?
be sat on.
It's okay to be sat on. Exactly. It's okay to dive your face in someone's butt to get a pass. You know,
Yes.
you do what you gotta do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what
Definitely.
jiu-jitsu
And
does.
I so agree. And one thing, like you said, one thing that I've realized for myself also, learning what my limitations are, and like, because I'm quite interested in the whole prospect of self-help, doing a lot of reflections, discovering who I am as a person and things like that. And nothing could have prepared me um for facing myself more than being on the mats. I thought I wasn't petty. I thought I've gotten over my pettiness. And then somebody
Mm.
armbarred me. Fuck. Yeah. And then the monster came out, and then you can hear yourself like, I thought you've gone
Yeah,
like you don't have this issue anymore. Like
yeah.
I thought you're not that kiasu anymore. I thought that you're this zen, vocal instructor, whatever. Bullshit. Like once you're on the mat, it's like
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. I mean, we're all human, you know, and every day we're all human
yeah.
and we will always feel a sense of
Yes.
like a negative feeling. There will always be that with you, I think. I think
Yeah.
what it helps you do is that it just helps you become friendly lah with the things that you're
Mm.
not really good at, you know? And
Yeah.
like, yeah, be friends with your demons in a sense. Embrace it,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
We're all built with like two sides, right? We're all built with a negative side and a positive side. So it's fine to acknowledge that
Yeah.
you have both. I've
Yeah.
struggled with it these last few years, you know. Yeah,
So
yeah.
okay. That's super interesting. I think we have to do a part two podcast of like, the philosophy of
Hey,
jiu-jitsu
hey, that'll
and
be
like
sick. That'll be sick, man. That'll be so sick, dude. I'm down, man.
and
Just let me know.
because I feel
I
like we don't really have our own like jiu-jitsu podcast here in
Yeah, Malaysia.
Malaysia, but
Yeah.
maybe you should start.
I
Haha.
don't know. I'm doing this fighter spotlight stuff on IG Live. I don't even know if I can call it a podcast. I just do it for fun. I'm just like, I just want to talk to people. I want to talk to my jiu-jitsu bros, you know, and
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time create some awareness, lah. Right? So I don't even know if it's a
Yes.
podcast. It's just an IG Live. That's what I
You
call it.
should
It's an
do
IG Live.
it.
I mean,
And
it's cool, right? Because like we can. There's a lot of fighters here, man, in Malaysia. Some really
so
really good
many.
fighters. So many good fighters, but like a lot of
Yeah.
people don't even know about them, you know.
Exactly.
And that's a shame, dude. That's a shame. And a lot of them are my friends, so I want to put them on the pedestal. You know, I want to put them on the spotlight because they deserve it, man.
Exactly. And then if you save the video, and then people can refer back to
Hmm.
it. And then, like just do it so that I can
Yeah.
watch it also.
Yeah. Definitely, man.
Yeah, but we'll
Definitely.
we'll talk more, like, and I'm quite interested in doing like a women's empowerment, not
Yeah.
empowerment, lah, but like just like a I want other girls especially, to feel how I felt when I started
Yeah.
jujitsu and how much
No,
it's
that's the
changed my
thing.
life.
That's the thing.
So
And I think it's huge. I think it's huge. I was just talking about some ideas on the people that I want to get on the IG Live. I don't want to just
yeah,
get like the highest belt, the highest level, like black belt only. I want them to see the whole community, you know, like the
yeah,
females, yeah, like the teens, the
yes,
CEOs. I think a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of CEOs in Jiu-Jitsu. You know,
mm-hmm,
there's a lot of high tycoons and high, like really rich people that do Jiu-Jitsu. And it's just
yes,
an interesting take on martial arts because you feel like, oh, martial arts is just like, you know. So I think it'll be
yeah,
cool, man. You know, I want to get everyone on that. I'll get
the
you on
full
that soon,
spectrum.
hopefully. Yeah, the whole spectrum. A podcaster being podcasted by a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
Simple. That'll be fun, dude. That'll be damn fun.
That'll be amazing.
It'll be
All
amazing,
right.
man.
So I think we have come down to the last question before I let you
Right.
go, because it is, oh, this was so fun, but we've been
So
talking
fun,
for an
dude.
hour and a half now.
Doesn't feel like it, man. Doesn't feel like it. We can do it again, dude. Definitely, man. Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. Now there's no training, so let me just talk about it less, so I'll
Yeah,
think about it.
exactly, exactly. That's the whole idea of the fighter spotlight thingy that I'm doing. Like we can't really train, but we
Yeah.
still want to talk about it, and like we still want to
Yes.
live that life that we have right on the mat.
Yeah,
So that was how the idea
definitely.
came to be.
And it's just a hang lah. Like it's so cool to hang
Yeah,
with.
it's so, yeah, it
Definitely.
is.
Okay.
It is.
So one last thing.
I
W- Sorry.
I
Okay. All right.
cool. Yeah, go
Sorry.
for it.
I thought lag again.
Dude, this virtual cannot, bro. Cannot, dude.
Jalan lah. Whatever. Jalan.
Yeah, jalan je.
So let's say that things are slowly coming back to normal. People are getting safe again. Like we're slowly coming out of this pandemic, and you're
Mm.
training regularly. Things like that. What's next? So you're already competing. You're already teaching and things like that. What what do you have? Not what do you have? Like, let me think of a better way to ask this question. Like, what are the next milestones in life for you? Not just jujitsu, or it can be
Um,
only jujitsu.
for yeah, for me, I mean, I've always wanted to be. I want to retire as like a venture capitalist, like someone who goes into multiple businesses and like, but be the one who invests. But first, I have to earn a lot of money to do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tell me about it.
yeah, that's the end goal. But this next few years, like my jiu-jitsu career just started last year, right?
Yes.
So I graduated last year and my jiu-jitsu career just started last year. And it was so nice that I managed to land a good job at Flow. They've been so
Yeah.
awesome. They've really supported me
And
in
the gym
everything
is
that I do.
beautiful.
Beautiful gym. The owners are
Yeah.
really nice. The students are awesome. I love all of them so much. But
Yeah.
so being an instructor will always be my first job, will always be my main priority. I love
Yeah.
teaching, and that's a selfish feeling. I love teaching because of the fulfillment it gives me. I feel like
Yes.
I get that. I don't know, it's like a rush, or like it feels like what I'm supposed to do lah.
Yes.
As a person, I just feel like okay, this is me. I'm a teacher. Cool. Okay, that's gonna be my first job. But after that, I'll be competing definitely
Mm.
when competitions are open again. That's my hobby. I love competing. And
Yeah.
then see my business side, which is a side that I feel like has not been I've not given it a chance yet because I was
Ah.
hustling, I was grinding on this. I was trying to get this
Yeah.
instructor thing, this instructor gig. I was trying to do this competition gig. But my
Oh
next
yeah.
steps further on is business, and few things I can't expose right now, but you
Eee.
can look forward to a few businesses that I hope to open in the next 10 to 15 years. Hopefully, and I
Oh.
hope it goes well. I'm gonna treat it just like how I treat jiu-jitsu. And like
Yeah.
white belt, earn my ranks, get the blue belt, purple, brown, or whatever lah. But really try to go through the ranks, really try to learn it from the best of
Yeah.
the best. I'm always trying to look
Yeah.
out for some mentors, trying to look out for like advice on how I can start things. Because I want to go into startups. I mean, the future obviously is to have my own gym, and then
Yeah.
later on
I
get
pun
all
nak.
the other.
When you have your own gym, I want also.
Yeah, man, calm down, man. Like if I open up my own place, it should be fun
Oh,
lah. I mean, the vibe. It's just about the vibe, right? I just want to have everyone train there. You
yeah.
know, everybody
And then
come,
hang.
lepak, hang, mama after that.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
bullshit. That's the biggest thing. No bullshit,
cannot,
dude.
cannot.
Just
Cannot
train.
mama after gym bulat, berim bulat.
It's okay. We train high and then we can makan. No problem. No problem. No problem at all.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's so nice. And like, um, I do feel that we're in a similar boat.
Hmm.
in so many ways, like, oh, music can make money meh, how
Mm,
jiu-jitsu
mm,
can make money meh, what
mm.
about when are you getting a serious job, that
A
kind of
real
thing.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, so and for us, like, you started jiu-jitsu very, very young, and it
Mm.
was a hobby at first. And for me, it was the same. I started music when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and it's the one thing
Damn.
that I've known for my
Damn.
whole life. Yeah. So I feel, like, uh it's not just about make of course making money is important. Like,
Yeah.
we have to pay rent, we have to have,
You gotta
we have to
eat.
makan lah.
You gotta eat, man. We gotta
Exactly.
eat. Yeah.
Exactly. But it also, uh, uh, because we're hungry, I feel, we've always had to, make our craft, uh, we've always have to, pave our own way in
Yeah.
whatever that we're doing, be it,
Yeah.
martial arts, music,
Mm.
acting, sports, whatever.
Mm.
So at this stage, I can confidently say, like, if we've made it this far, and we're still surviving and we're thriving and we're good at what we do, it's I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be smooth sailing from here on
Yeah.
out, but at least, we know that we have ourselves to take care of ourselves, and we're not afraid of the hustle. Because
Yeah.
when so many people ask us, are you sure you want to do music? Are you sure you want to do
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu as a career? Like, it seems very,
Yeah.
unsustainable.
Unsustainable, not sure, uncertain in all those words, those connotations that come with it.
Right. Yeah.
It's not
So
really the art, really, it's just you, man. You know, if you can't do
exactly.
it, doesn't mean I can't do it. You know, I
Exactly.
love it.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, if you don't love it as much as I do, doesn't mean that I can't do it. You know,
Yeah.
oh,
And
why
the thing
not,
is,
right?
if you cannot do it, okay, let's see how, like, what mistakes you've done, so that I don't do those mistakes, so that I
Yeah,
can carry out, it's a, um yeah lah, yeah. I
yeah.
see that entrepreneur.
Real recognize real, man. Simple as that. Real recognize real, man. Yeah,
A.
it do be like that. It do be like that, man. It do be like
It don't be like that.
that. It really do. It really do.
All right, thank you so much, Abang,
Hey,
for
thank you for having me, man. This is my first time being podcasted, and I really appreciate it. I'm really happy it's with you, man. Kyle talked a lot, really, like, really talked you up, and
Aw.
you really, yeah, you brought it, man. I really appreciate it so much. I learned from you as well. I'm inspired by you, and it's cool, man. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you,
No,
thank
likewise.
you.
Thank you so much. And want us shout out to Carl. Thank you for connecting us. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like, we're kindred spirits, even though we're doing something different professionally, but you know,
yo, art is
um,
art, man. Art is art.
ex-
You know, yeah,
ex-
art is
the
art. Like
gentle
how,
art.
yeah, and bro, your music is what is jiu-jitsu even jiu-jitsu without music? No, you can't do jiu-jitsu without music. You need music to do jiu-jitsu. Hello, you crazy or what?
Definitely. Yeah, it
Yeah,
depends on
man.
what you're playing in the gym, lah.
Doesn't matter. Just put something on and roll, roll.
True.
Yeah, man.
True. In so many ways, I do feel like, jiu-jitsu is like it's a choreography. Like, you have to use your body, and there's a certain flow to it, there's a certain groove, and timing is so important.
Timing.
And I'm
Yeah,
finding so many similarities between music and
yeah.
jiu-jitsu. And the more I learn from
Definitely,
jiu-jitsu, the more I
definitely, hundred
grow,
percent.
from, in music as well. And yeah, so thank
Yeah.
you for doing this.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me, man.
No worries. And thank you all for tuning in. I'm sorry we couldn't get to the comments. I just realized, like, I'm somebody who cannot multitask. So if I look at the comments, I forget what I'm talking
Okay,
about. So
The next one.
the next one, definitely.
The
And
next
then
one, yeah,
maybe,
for sure.
yeah, hopefully we'll be able to break down, maybe this week we'll talk about, certain topics. Next one we'll
Yeah,
talk about certain topics. So
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of have like
yeah,
continuous thing going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
Sounds good, man.
right. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like this episode, if learn something, learn a thing or two, or if you're curious about, hey, what's this like jujitsu thing? It sounds kind of nasty, whatever. Check it out. Who knows? You might like it once you dive deeper into it. I know I did. And thank you, Abang. You're an amazing person. You bring so much light
Thank you,
and
Joe.
joy to this
Thank you, Joe.
conversation and to the art of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I hope that, we get to connect in person and just talk more and train together. And I would love to meet your
Yeah.
beautiful fiance, Mila, and train
Hey,
together.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We should all just come down and train, man. I can't wait. Share the mat with
Oh,
you
yes,
and
please.
everybody else. Yes.
I Penang. All right. Thank you all so much and have a great
Hey.
night. Bye bye.